ॐ गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम् सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Yesterday we completed the first khanda, first part of Kenopanishad. Now let us start the second khanda. In fact, the teaching was complete with the first khanda. The Guru taught the Shishya. And after teaching the Shishya, the Guru wants to know whether the Shishya has understood properly or not. Therefore, the Guru makes a statement. Let us read. First mantra. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabhramevapi nunam tvam vetha brahmano rupam yadasya deveshu athanu mimamsyamevate manye viditam. Generally, in texts like Bhagavad Gita, you find Arjuna Uvacha, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, etc. Before some shlokas, you will find Arjuna Uvacha, meaning Arjuna spoke. Uvacha means spoke, indicating that it is the word of Arjuna. Then Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. It is the words of Bhagavan, who speaks what is mentioned in the text itself. But in Upanishads, often you don't find such vacha. We have to understand. If you look at Khanda 1, the first Khanda, it began with a Shishya's question, the first mantra. It could have been Shishya Uvacha. And the second mantra onwards, Shrotrasya Shrotram onwards, it was the words of the Guru. Therefore, Guruhu Uvacha, Guru Uvacha would have been there, but it is not there. We have to understand. And even these lines, starting from Yadi Manyase up to Mimamsyamevate, up to Te, is Guruhu Uvacha, the words of the Guru. And then Manye Viditam are the words of the Shishya, Shishya Uvacha. Now, after listening to the teaching, the Shishya has shaken his head. Yes, yes. Often, some people respond very well. They show their receptivity. When the student shows his receptivity, it is a great help in teaching, because the Guru understands that somebody is understanding what I am speaking. Often it is like speaking to the wall, especially in today's scenario. I have to speak to the computer. That is why, even when the computers came, internet came, I was very much reluctant to start online sessions. I didn't even know how to conduct online sessions. But then, thanks to COVID, lockdown, I was forced to start some sessions online. And now we are desperate. There is no other way. So, the Shishya has shaken his head, showing that he has understood properly. He has understood everything. Then the Guru says, Yadi manyase suveda iti. If you think, Yadi manyase, if you think, Suveda, I know very well. If you think so, then Dabhramevapi nunam tvam vedha Yadasya Brahmano Rupam. The Yadasya, Yad Asya should be connected to Brahmano Rupam. Yadasya Brahmano Rupam. Tat Tvam Nunam Dabhram Eva Api Vetha. You have understood only a limited form of Brahman. If you think you have understood very well, you have understood only a limited form of the Brahman. No. Understanding very well, knowing very well, what does it mean? For example, I ask you, do you know Hyderabad? Many people have joined from Hyderabad, Bhagyanagar. So, do you know Hyderabad? Then somebody says, I know Hyderabad very well. What does it mean? What do you mean when you say so? So, knowing very well implies several things. Number one, you are knowing the place as an object external to you. This is the first point. You know that thing, place, or whatever as an object external to you. That is one point. And point number two, you know the object distinctly. For example, Hyderabad. You know very well means you know how big it is. What kind of people are there? In short, you know the attributes of the place. What kind of people are there? How it looks like? What is the topography? What is the demography? What all places are there within Hyderabad? You know all of them. It is point number two. You know the attributes of the object. You know the guna of the object. Number two. And number three, you know the boundaries of the object. What are the boundaries of Hyderabad? What is there in the north? What is there in the south? What is there in the east? What is there in the west? The boundaries, you know very well. When you know all these things, you can say you know it very well. You know so many features of the object. You know it distinctly. You know it as an object different from you. You know the attributes. You know the boundaries. then you can say you know it very well. You have understood it very well. But in the case of Brahman, in the case of the Atma, none of these points are possible. Number one, you cannot know it as an object outside you because it is not outside. It is your own Swarupa. Number two, you cannot know its attributes because it is free from attributes. And number three, you cannot know its boundaries because it is boundless, it is infinite. Therefore, if somebody says, I have known Brahman very well, you can doubt his statement. You can doubt his understanding. Knowing very well includes all these factors, all these points. Therefore, the Guru says, if you think you have understood Brahman very well, Suveda, Su means well. If you know Brahman well, like Hyderabad, like Bangalore, like Delhi, that means you have understood only a limited form of Brahman. The Brahm Eva. The Brahm means Alpa, limited. You have understood only a limited form of Brahman. Now we have to understand the meaning of limited form. To understand this, we have to understand another concept in Vedanta Shastra. We often use the word Upadhi. Upadhi is the word Upadhi is very much used in Vedanta. What is an Upadhi? Upadhi is an external factor whose attributes are superimposed on Brahman, on Atma. An external factor whose attributes are superimposed on the Atma is called Upadhi. Let us understand this with some examples. To understand the Upadhi, the Acharyas give various examples. One example, there is a crystal. What is the color of the crystal? Crystal clear. Crystal does not have any color. It is crystal clear. You keep a crystal on a table, and near the crystal, you keep a red flower, a hibiscus flower. In Sanskrit, hibiscus flower is called japa kusuma, red hibiscus flower. It is kept near the crystal. Then what happens? The crystal appears red. The colorless crystal appears red. You can try doing this experiment. Take a crystal, a sphatika. Crystal is called sphatika. And near that, keep a flower. The crystal becomes red. And they say, the crystal looks like a Padmaraga Shila, ruby. Crystal appears as a ruby. Ruby is a precious stone. You must be aware of it. No, what is happening? The crystal does not really become red. The crystal was clear and the crystal is clear even when it appears red. In reality, it is clear. And even when you remove the flower, the crystal appears red. It will remain red. There is no change in the color of the crystal at all. Yet, when the Japa Kusuma is there, the crystal appears red. Often people mistake it as a red object, as a Japa Kusuma, as a Padmaraga Shila, as a ruby. No. What causes the apparent redness in the crystal? The apparent redness in the crystal is caused by the hibiscus flower. The hibiscus flower is an upadhi because it is an external factor. It is external to the crystal. It need not even touch the crystal. It is not even touching. It is just near. Yet, its attribute, the redness, is superimposed on the crystal. Such an object is called upadhi. This is one example. And now, in Vedanta, we give another example. Let us take a pot. The pot limits the space. In fact, the space is free from limitation. Space is vast. At least it is free from desha paricheda. Akasha is free from desha paricheda, limitation in terms of space. It has other two parichedas. Space has kala paricheda and vastu paricheda, but it is free from desha paricheda. Space is not limited in space. Now, there is a pot. On account of the pot, the space appears to be limited. On account of the pot, the space seems to have a shape, seems to have a size. And when you move the pot space also seems to be moving. In reality, the space is not limited. Yet, because of the pot, the space seems to be limited. In this case, the pot is the upadhi. Ghata, pot is the upadhi. Because it as though limits the space. The size of the pot is superimposed on the space, attributed to the space. The shape of the pot is attributed to the space, even though the space does not have the size or shape. It is another example of upadhi. And we can give another example also. That is a water in, let's say, a pot, a vessel. You have kept water in a vessel at night. That is the full moon day night, Purnima night. What happens? The moon reflects on the water, in the water. Now, the moon has reflected in the water. If the water is muddy, the moon also seems muddy. Suppose the water has a color. You put some color to the water, blue. The moon also will appear a little blue, having a blue shade. If the water shakes, the moon also will appear to be shaky, shaking moon. If the water is moved from one place to another place, the moon also seems to be moving. It is another example of upadhi. In this context, the reflecting medium serves as the upadhi. The water, which is the reflecting medium, serves as the upadhi. Because we superimpose the attributes of the reflecting medium on the moon. This is the idea of upadhi. And the same is understood with the Brahman also. The Brahman is infinite, free from all limitations, one without a second. There is no multitude in Brahman. Ekameva advitiyam, one without a second, infinite, free from changes, free from movements. It is the nature of Brahman. Now, there are upadhis. Certain things are the upadhis of Brahman. For example, our body, our sthula sharira, and our sukshma sharira, our subtle body, both of them act as upadhis of Brahman. Because of the body, the infinite Brahman, the infinite consciousness, Brahman is the consciousness, the Atma, appears to be finite. The infinite appears to be finite, confined to the body. This body is like a pot. The infinite seems to be confined. The one who is free from changes seems to be subject to changes. That means the attributes of the body are superimposed on the Atma. The limitations of the body are superimposed on the Atma. The changes of the body are superimposed on the Atma. The problems of the body are superimposed on the Atma. Therefore, this body is an upadhi. The sthula sharira is upadhi. Even the sukshma sharira is an upadhi. And the Vedanta talks about a karana sharira also. Karana sharira is nothing but the ajnana, ignorance. Even the ajnana is an upadhi. It is karana sharira. It is karana because it is responsible for our identification with both sthula sharira and sukshma sharira. As long as ignorance is there, we will continue to have sthula sharira and sukshma sharira. Therefore, it is called karana sharira. All these three are upadhis. Sthula sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira. These three are superimposed, mixed up with the Brahman. And therefore, the attributes of these three are attributed to the Brahman, superimposed on the Brahman. No, when the attributes of Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira are superimposed on the Brahman becomes a Jiva. The Brahman is called a Jiva, an individual. No, the same Jiva can become Devata also. Now we are human beings. When are we human beings? At present, we are human beings. Our human being identity is not eternal. When we are identifying with this Sthula Sharira, we are human beings. Now, suppose you have done certain good karmas, then after death, we can become the Devatas. The same Jiva goes to a higher loka and becomes a Devata. Deva, Indra, Agni, Varuna, all of them are people like us, Jivas like us. Because of some special karma, they have attained a special body, a special status, and they have become Devatas. Even the Devatas have Upadhi, just like us. The only difference is their Sthula Sharira is much more refined than ours. If you compare with the dog's body, the human body is much more refined, much more sophisticated. Likewise, the body of the Devatas is even more sophisticated. It is a better model. So even the Devatas have the Upadhi. Now, the Jivas, every Jiva is essentially the Brahman, identified with the Upadhi, confined to the Upadhi. Any of us, when I say I, what am I referring? It is a Brahman with Upadhi, consciousness with an upadhi. And so are the other people, everybody here. Essentially, there is only one consciousness, one Chaitanya. But on account of the difference in upadhi, the upadhis are many. Brahman is not many. Upadhis are many. Because of the differences in the upadhi, the Brahman appears to be different. The consciousness appears to be different. Because of the limitations of the upadhi, the consciousness appears to be limited, finite. Therefore, the Guru tells the Shishya, you might have understood only a finite form of Brahman. Finite form means a form with upadhi. A form confined to the upadhi. Not the true nature of the Brahman. The true nature of the Brahman is free from all upadhis, free from all limitations. It is called Nirupadhika. Nirupadhika means without any upadhi, without the attributes of the upadhi, without the confinements of the upadhi. It is Nirupadhika. For example, the crystal without the hibiscus flower. It is the Nirupadhika. Clear. In the same manner, the Brahman in its own nature is Nirupadhika, free from the upadhis. And therefore, the nature of the Brahman, which is free from the upadhi, is called Nirupadhika Rupa. Nirupadhika Rupa. The nature of Brahman devoid of upadhi, free from the upadhi. The infinite, pure consciousness, pure happiness is the Nirupadhika Rupa. And since the Nirupadhika Rupa is the own nature of the Brahman, it is called Swarupa. It is the Swarupa. In the case of the crystal, the redness is not the Swarupa because it is not its own nature. It is a borrowed nature, a superimposed nature, brought about by the hibiscus flower, brought about by the upadhi. Whereas Swarupa means own nature. Swa means one's own. The Swarupa of the Brahman is Nirupadhika Rupa. But then there is Sopadhika Rupa. On account of the Upadhi, the Brahman seems to have many forms. In fact, all of us are the Sopadhika Rupa. Every individual is a Sopadhika Rupa of the Brahman. Because who are you? Brahman, identified with an Upadhi, identified with a body, mind, sense, etc. It is with the Jiva. Likewise, even the Ishvara, when we say Ishvara, even the Ishvara has an Upadhi. What is the Upadhi of the Ishvara? It is the Maya. Maya Shakti. We have discussed Maya earlier. The Brahman with the Maya as the Upadhi is called Ishvara. On account of the Maya Upadhi, the Ishvara becomes the cause of the universe. On account of this Upadhi, the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira, we become the Jivas. The same Brahman is in the form of Ishvara, and the same Brahman is in the form of all the Jivas. Therefore, the Jiva Ishvara Bheda, the difference in between Jiva and Ishvara, is caused by the Upadhis. The difference in the Upadhis. As far as the Swarupa is concerned, as far as the true nature is concerned, as far as Brahman's own nature is concerned, there is no difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Now the Guru says, you might have understood only a limited nature of Brahman. Meaning, you might have understood only a Sopadhika Rupa of Brahman. You have not understood. Perhaps you have not understood the Nirupadhika Rupa or the Swarupa of the Brahman. Because the Sopadhika Rupa alone can be understood as different from us. The Sopadhika Rupa alone can be understood with the attributes, and the Sopadhika Rupa alone can be having boundaries. It has a limited nature. Therefore, your understanding may not be correct, the Guru says. The Guru has taught properly with all effort. Guru has taken several classes. Many sessions were over. Yet the Guru doubts whether he has understood properly or not. It is not easy to understand the truth. A clear understanding is not very easy because the Brahman is very sukshma. Jneyasya atisukshmatva. It is very subtle, very abstract. The subject matter of Vedanta is very subtle, very abstract. That is why sometimes, even after several years of studies, people may not have clarity. It is not surprising. In fact, in my experience, after several years of studies, if somebody gets clarity, it is an ashcharya. It is a wonder. That is why the Shastra says, Ashcharyavat pashyati kashchidenam. Some rare person, kashchit, a rare individual, understands this Brahman, Ashcharyavat, like a real wonder. The understanding itself is Ashcharya. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchidyatati siddhaye. Yatataamapi siddhanam kaschinmam veti tattvataha. Even to take interest in Atmajnana, in the pursuit of self-knowledge, is very rare. Even if you give it free of cost, how many people are interested? Very few. Even if you give it free of cost. And among them, how many people really understand? Very few. Somewhere there was a, MBA entrance coaching. Some institutions are there. They give coaching for MBA entrance. There, I saw a statement in some newspaper or somewhere. MBA entrance is not a selection procedure. It is a rejection process. MBA entrance is not a selection process. Instead, it is a rejection process. Because majority of the people are rejected than selected. So is CA. CA exam. 95% of the people are rejected. Only around 5% pass. And so is Vedanta. It is not easy to get the clear understanding. Even the Guru is aware of it. That is why one should make special effort. Nowadays, people often go to many people, hear many things. When people hear many things from many people, the clarity does not take place. they get confused. He says this, she says this. Everything gets gets into a confusion. That is why, first of all, one should one should expose oneself to one acharya for a good length of time. Maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. If one hears many people, there is often a chance of not getting clarity at all. It is like learning music from many teachers. One will not make a real progress in terms of clarity. And then it has to be heard regularly, continuously, and one should pay proper attention, reason properly, and slowly one understands the truth with a special effort, and then he starts enjoying the result also. Therefore, the Shastra says special effort is needed to understand the truth clearly. Now, the Acharya said, you might have understood only the limited form of Brahman. Means you might have understood only the Sopadhika Rupa of the Brahman. Let's continue in the next session. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji, thank you.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om
Thank you,
Swamiji.
Swamiji.
Hari Om
Thank you,
Swamiji. Hari Om.
Swamiji.
Hari Om
Pranam.
Swamiji.
Yeah. Somebody, yeah.